Hi boys and girls, welcome to the Grade 4 Place Value Review. This video will cover a review of lessons 1 through 4 of Unit 1. Let's get started on our first problem. 10 times 4 hundredths is blank hundreds or blank thousands. So this problem is asking me how much is 10 times 4 hundredths. I can think to myself that 10 times 4 is 40, and the unit I'm in is hundreds, so it's 40 hundredths. However, you can always use your place value chart to figure problems like this out. You don't have to guess. You can even use your place value chart to check your answer. So, I was given 4 hundredths to start with, so I'm going to use place value dots to indicate 4 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to multiply that by 10. So each hundred is going to be multiplied by 10. Okay, so we have 40 hundredths. 10 times 4 hundredths is 40 hundredths. Then it says, or blank thousands. Well, I can bundle each group of 10 hundredths and make 1,000. So each group of 10 hundredths can get cashed in for 1,000. So my answer is 40 hundredths or 4 thousands. Blank hundredths is the same as 2 thousands. If I don't have a strategy to solve that, I can take out my place value chart, or I can draw a quick place value chart. I'm going to use my place value chart to solve this one. The number I'm given is 2 thousands, so I'm going to draw 2 thousands. And what the question's asking me is how many hundreds is the same as 2 thousands. So I know that I need to go over to this place value. Well, 1,000 is the same as 10 hundredths. So I can cash in 1,000 for 10 hundredths. I have one more thousand, so I'm going to give myself 10 more hundredths. So I can see that 20 hundredths is the same as 2 thousands. Remember, use your place value table to help you move between units and values. Okay, so now I have to fill in the blanks to complete each number sentence. So the first expression I'm given is 4 tens, 3 ones times 10. What I have to know is when it's times 10, I'm being asked to multiply both 4 tens and 3 ones by 10. Well, 4 tens times 10 is 40 tens. But I have more than 10 of those, so I know I can do some bundling. If I want some help, I can add my place value chart. So go ahead and pause the video and add 4 tens to your place value chart and multiply by 10 right now. So you should have drawn out 4 tens, multiplied that by 10, so then you have 40 tens. Every group of 10 tens is the same as 100. So in unit form, I would write 4 tens times 10 as 4 hundredths. Then I have to do 3 ones times 10. 3 ones times 10 is 30 ones. However, I wouldn't want to write 30 ones for unit form because that's bigger than 10. I know I can bundle some of those groups of 10. There's 3 groups of 10 and 30, so instead of 30 ones, it's the same as 3 tens. So my unit form answer is 4 hundredths, 3 tens. In standard form, I'm going to write 430, 430. And again, you can use your place value chart to see how many dots you have in each of your place value units to figure out that standard form. Now we have 5,200 divided by 10? So for this one, I'm definitely going to add my place value chart. All right, let's start modeling. I'm going to model 5,000s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 200s. 1, 2. This problem wanted me to divide by 10. So I know I'm going to have a smaller number. I'm dividing into groups of 10. So taking 5 dots in my 5,000s place, it's going to be tough for me to divide that by 10. So instead of dividing 5 by 10, I am going to change those 5,000s into 50 hundreds. So instead of 5,000s, I cashed that in and changed it into 50 hundreds. 5,000s is the same as 50 hundreds. 50 hundreds is easy for me to divide by 10. I can make 10 groups of 5. So now I have 10 groups of 5. So 50 divided by 10 is 5. Okay? So now I'm going to also divide my 200s by 10. I want to do the same thing. I'm going to cash in my 200s for 20 tens. So if I have 20 tens, it's the same as 200s. Okay, now that I have 20 tens, I can divide by 10. I know 20 divided by 10 is 2, or I'll have 2 groups of 10. So 20 divided by 10 is 2. So for my answer, I have 5,000s divided by 10 is 500s, or yes, 500s. And 200s divided by 10 is 2 tens. So my answer in standard form is 520. All right, now we are going to rewrite the following numbers using commas where appropriate. So again, this is another one where you can use your place value chart. You can write each of these digits in their proper place values. Remember, to put commas in, we put numbers into groups of 3. And we think about their similar units. The ones, tens, hundred place goes together. Then 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 goes together. Then 1 million, 10 million, 100 million goes together. We can keep grouping those like that, and that's how I know where to put my commas. So my first number is 4562. My 4 is in the thousands place, so I know that is 4,000, comma, 562. So my 562 is a group of 3 grouped together, and then the 4 is by itself because I only have one number in the thousands place. I don't have 10,000s or 100,000s, so it's 4, comma, 562. And we would read that 4,562. Now this next number is a little bit bigger, 53227,682. So for this one, I probably want to write these numbers in my place value table. Please pause the video and put those digits in your place value table now. Okay, I'm going to add mine in. I'm going to start in my ones place and work my way up. So I have a 2, 8, 6, 7, 2, 2, 3. Oh, and this one doesn't fit, but that's okay. All right. So now I'm going to figure out where I add my commas. Remember, I want to do groups of 3. So I'll group these together, my tens, ones, hundreds. I'll do all of my thousands together. Anytime I see that word thousand, I'm going to group those together. And then finally, I have my millions. So to write this with commas, I would write it as 53,227,682. All right, this is the same idea as the previous slide. However, the numbers are not given to us in standard form. They're given to us in unit form. So again, this is where you can take out your place value chart and write in 4 thousands, 700s, and 5 ones. So I know that it's going to be 4,000. Whenever I see that word thousand, I know that the comma is going to go after that, my thousands place. 700, so a 7 will be in the hundreds place. And then the next one is 5 ones. So that tells me there's no tens in this problem. So I'm going to put a 0 in the tens place and a 5 in the ones place. 4,705. Okay, let's try another one. Rewrite the following units as digits using commas where appropriate. So we want to write it in standard form. Please solve this problem and press play when you think you have the answer. Okay, great. Check your answer. Do you have 36,159? Good job. All right, now we have to practice completing the chart. I have 3 headings: number, word form, and expanded form. So I'm given my number in expanded form, and I have to write it in number form, which is the same as standard form, and word form. So I'm going to start by using my place value chart. Please fill your place value chart in with me as we do this. So I have 40,000. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to say that that is 4 10,000s. Then I have 1,000. 600 would be the same as 600s. 30 tens is the same, or 30 is the same as 3 tens, and 8 ones. So now I basically have my number written in my place value chart. So I'm going to write 41,638. Now we have to write it in word form. So when I write it in word form, I'm going to think of my numbers in these groups of 3, or based on their place value unit. So I'm going to group my thousands together. In this particular number, I have 41 thousands. So I'm going to write out 41,000, comma, and then the rest of my number is 638. So I'm going to write 638. So I use a lot of my knowledge from where to place commas to write it in word form. So I look at what's in my thousands place. I have 41,000. So I'm going to write actually 41,000, comma, and then I look at what follows that, and it's 638. So I'll write 638. Okay, we have a similar problem. We need to complete the chart. However, this time we are given the number in word form, and we have to write it in number form and expanded form. So let's read word form together. 22,955. So let's start with what we know is in the thousands place. I have 22,000. So I don't want to write 22 in the thousands place. That means that I have 2 10,000s and 2 thousands. So that's read as 22,000. And then it says I have 955. So 900s, and then 55 is 5 tens and 5 ones. So I have my number in standard form. 22,955. Once you have your answer, make sure that you reread word form and look at your number. Check that your answer makes sense. All right, the last thing we have to do is write it in expanded form. So for expanded form, I'm just going to go each unit at a time. 2 10,000s. And then I have 2 thousands. I have to do plus 2 thousands plus 900s. Oh, running out of room. Sorry, I think you guys know what I mean. Plus 5 tens plus 5 ones. You have to do each unit separately. So look at every single unit. That's where your place value chart can be really helpful. All right, it's time for some word problems. Elizabeth raised $1,208 for a marathon she ran to support cancer. Next year, she wants to raise 10 times as much money. Exactly how much money does Elizabeth want to raise next year? So first of all, I have to think, how much did she make this year and how much does she want to make next year? Next year, she wants to make 10 times more. So my answer for next year should be larger. She wants to make 10 times more money. So I'm going to start by putting in my place value chart the amount that she raised this year, 1,208. Next year, she wants to make 10 times as much. Well, 8 ones times 10 is 8 tens. 8 ones times 10 is 8 tens. 0 tens times 10 is still 0. 2 hundreds times 10 is 2 thousands, and 1,000 times 10 is 1 10,000. So next year she wants to raise 12,080. Because we have 0 ones, we have to put that at the end. So I'd write my final answer as 12,080. And then I want to reread the problem to make sure my answer makes sense with the problem. Elizabeth raised $1,008 for a marathon she ran to support cancer. Next year she wants to make 10 times as much. So in my mind I'm thinking next year she should be making more money. Is 12,000 more than 1,000? It is. So I think my answer makes sense. I'm happy with it. I'm going to circle it and move on. Kendall did 3,670 jumping jacks at basketball camp this year. Wow, that's a lot of jumping jacks. This was 10 times as many as he did last year. How many jumping jacks did he do last year? So I know he did about 3,000 jumping jacks this year, and that was 10 times as many as last year. So in my mind, I have to figure out that last year he did less than this year. Last year he did 10 times less than he did this year. This time he did 10 times more. So I know that last year he did less jumping jacks. So my answer, when I'm done, should be smaller. So I'm going to start by writing out how many jumping jacks he did this summer. He did 3,670 jumping jacks this year. Last year, he did 10 times less. So I can think of my inverse operations. 10 times less is just like dividing by 10. So 3,000s divided by 10. Well, I can do some regrouping and change 3,000s into 30 hundreds. And then I can do 30 hundreds divided by 10. 30 divided by 10 is 3 hundreds. Or I can start to use my knowledge knowing that if I'm dividing by 10, I'm moving to smaller units. If I'm multiplying by 10, I'm getting to greater units. So I'm going to do 3,000 divided by 10. 3,000 divided by 10 is 300. Think of if I had 3 $1,000 bills and I was dividing by 10, I would have $300 bills. So I'm going to do the same for each of these numbers. 6 hundreds divided by 10 is the same as 6 tens. 7 tens divided by 10 is 7 ones. Think of it. If I have 7 tens, I have $70. $70 divided by 10 is 7 ones. So I'm able to find out that last year, I think he did 367. So 367 jumping jacks last year. And like all word problems, once I have my answer, I don't want to just move on. I want to reread the problem and make sure I think my answer makes sense. Kendall did 3,670 jumping jacks this summer. It was 10 times as many as he did last year. How many did he do last year? Well, 367 jumping jacks last year, 10 times as many as that. Yeah, it makes sense that that's 3,670. I think my answer makes sense. I hope this video helped you have a better understanding of lessons 1 through 4 in our first unit. Please use this video and rewatch parts that you get stuck on, or if you need help later on in the unit.